I'm consenting to being recorded.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, it looks as if Facebook Live is just going to be really contrary today and not let us stream live. But anyway, welcome to Beyond the Frame. My name is Dottie San Martin with Cubica AMF, and we are so pleased to be here for our show today. Today, my guest is Scott Logan from Grand Station Entertainment in College Station, Texas. Hi, Scott.
Gig 'em.
Gig
Hey,
'em. That's a man after my heart. Well, for those of you that don't know where Grand Station Entertainment it's in College Station, Texas, the home of the Fighting Texas Aggie Band and Aggies in general. So anyway, welcome, Scott. We are so happy to have you today. And you know, it's so nice. We see that the message is starting to change. People are starting to talk about reopening, and the states are starting to release their plans to reopen. And so it's a gradual process, but nonetheless, it's light at the end of the tunnel. And so it's just so exciting to see that happening after so many weeks. And so today we want to talk a little bit about reopening and what that's going to look like for you guys at Grand Station. So one of the things that I noticed, Scott, is that you guys had a social media presence and you were being interactive on your social media. And I saw that you were doing a survey to your customers to kind of get their feedback on reopening and the timing for reopening and some decisions that you guys were being faced with right now as far as reopening. And one of the questions was, how likely will you be willing to visit, or how likely will you be to visit Grand Station within the first 30 days of reopening? Can you share with us what the outcome of that question was? I find that very interesting.
So one of the things that we were looking at specifically was, kind of which way the wind was blowing. And we realized right away that, things weren't going to return back to normal. And we wanted to see, specifically what, people were feeling and how, we're going to have to let them dictate how we should reopen and what their major concerns were. While it's not going to be, exact, but we did have about 150 people respond. And so it was about a good mix. It was probably, close to right down the middle, whether or not they would return or not. We did have maybe 10% neutral. So it's up in the air. And I think we're just trying to gauge people's comfort levels. Bowling industry is a high volume place usually when you have a lot of touch points and you have, all these terms that are, being brought to the forefront in our industry that, hadn't before. And so we're just trying to be more conscientious of what our customers want, what they expect. So we just kind of waiting to see what it looks like.
Sure, and include them in some of those decisions. That's sending out a very good message to your customer as well. And, one of the things that I hear many centers that are struggling with right now is whether or not to require their employees to wear face masks. And that was also something that you reached out to your customers and asked as well. Am I correct?
That's right. Yeah. So we kind of looked at the other industries that have opened up in our state. And, food has been one of the first things that have almost stayed open, drive-through restaurants. And now they recently opened up 25% for restaurants. And one of the standards was wearing face masks. And so we were just trying to see how they felt about that and whether or not we should wear shields. And we found that in our survey that people were more likely to come if we had our employees to wear that, which was going to be a part of it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And the other half said, 42% said that it wouldn't impact their decision to come whether or not if we wore face masks. So some were just indifferent and didn't bother them that we'd wear that. And some people are frightened by, the fact of what's going on and the unknowns. And now our new norm is people out in public with face masks. And I think some people are just frightened by that concept in general. And which, we're not, faulting anybody for thinking a certain way, but we wanted just to kind of see what our guests that, our subscriber list and what their feelings and just how we can put them at ease if there's any way we can do that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I find that quite interesting. What's your take on requiring employees to do temperature checks? Is that something that y'all are considering?
We're planning on doing that whenever we get the okay to open. So we're planning on doing that. We're waiting on getting the thermostat, the touchless thermostat, and that's going to be one of our processes when they come in. We're going to test every employee. But one thing that we've always had in place was if you're sick or feel sick, stay home. I mean, we deal with the general public, and before all this, we had a lot of people coming and going. We had over 100 employees at any given time. So we were always, conscientious of, people. And so if one person has the flu and they bring it and they can, and let alone COVID, that's supposed to be more contagious than the normal flu. So we're being extra cautious with temperature checks. And that's something we're implementing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Another big concern is the cleanliness, and everybody is making sure that they're doing all of the things that are necessary to build the confidence of the bowlers and reassure them that the center is maintaining cleanliness and making sure that they're abiding by the guidelines that are set forth to make sure that the facility is clean and it's a safe environment for them to come and enjoy their entertainment. And bowling ball cleanliness is one of those hot topics that, what is the perfect way to make sure, and like you said, a bowling center is high volume and you've got people coming in and they're wanting to choose the right house balls, so they're putting their hands in different house balls. And so how are you guys planning on dealing with house ball?
So one thing that we've talked about, and that was actually brought up in the comments section several times of our surveys, and putting our heads together, and we've talked about different ways of processing it and bringing out the smart ball that Cubic AMF has, to size people up.
Sure.
And you like that Cubic AMF plug there? It's a useful tool, and yes, people use it all the time. And so we actually come to the conclusion what we're going to do is we're going to have a wide variety of different balls across and the ball returns. So we'll have every lane ball return will have 8, 10, 12, 14, and then we'd have different finger holes. And then if a customer would like another size or more, the same size of this certain ball, we'd bring it out to them. So, and then once they get done, we would sanitize their area, and then we would also leave those balls there. And we have we purchased bottle brushes for baby bottles. And I should have brought one over here, but we're going to use it to clean the finger holes with Sanitation. And so we'll do it visible to our customers, so it'll be transparent. It'll be out there in the open. They can see the process that we're going through and the steps we're taking for their safety and our staff's safety, to make sure that we are continuing to provide a safe product for people to come out and enjoy with their family and friends. And that's essentially what bowling is all about. It's a glue that brings families and organizations together, and we want to continue that. And we want to make sure the general public knows that it's safe. We're going to do our best of our ability to make sure it's safe and clean for them. So I think transparency is going to be important in our new endeavor with the bowling industry. It's a whole new world we're going to be opening up to, and sanitation is going to be even more important than it has been before.
You're exactly right. I participated in a call the other day with a bunch of proprietors, and one of the best practices that they shared was that they were actually going to set up an additional ball cleaning station. So not only were they actually sanitizing each ball and handing it to the customer when they get their lane, but then they also, just in case that customer wanted to make sure and actually do it themselves, they had a ball sanitation station
Hmm.
setup, and they had ball cups, and you could just go, to the thing, set your ball down, and then they provided them with wipes that they could wipe the entire ball down in the finger holes, whatever. But
Yeah.
just for those customers that even though they're seeing the extent that you're going to provide, the balls being nice and clean, they just feel, that comfort level is there when they can actually do it themselves. So I thought
It is.
that was a pretty clever way to do it.
Right.
Now, do you have any plans for how you're going to maintain social distancing in the center?
Yep. So one of the things that we're going to try to focus on is to limit the guest movement throughout our center. So we're going to try and encourage online reservations. We have that module set up now on our Facebook or on our website, and we
Mm-hmm.
haven't gone live with that yet because we're closed, and we've gone through the trial stages, and we have a system in place to do online reservations. So we're going to try and encourage that, which will ask them their shoe sizes and their ball size, and so when they come in, they literally just walk down to their lane, and we have a server come by and ask them for food and beverage to try to contain the fun in just their booths. So they don't have to get up and go look for another ball. They don't have to go change their shoes out. We'll have people coming to them. They don't have to go to our cafe front line or the bar. We'll have people coming to them, and they can enjoy their experience even more with their friends and family. And so it's one of the things that we've really kind of tried to think about is, okay, contain their area of fun, if you will. And obviously we also have you can still come in and purchase a lane if you like to. We'll have the little circle ball things on the floor
Mm-hmm.
for social distancing. And so we've took out tables from our settee area, and we've moved some other things around. We rearranged our whole entire arcade, and it's completely spacious. We're ready for that to open up too, but that's a whole nother game there. So
Yes, patience. That's one thing that we've learned during this pandemic. It's
that's
patience.
true. That's true.
Okay, well that sounds good. When we were talking about balls and how they were going to be cleaned and so on and so forth, one of the things that I do want to mention for those that are viewing this video, since we can't say we're live right now since Facebook is not cooperating with us. When our viewers watch this recording, Cubica AMF on our COVID resource page of the Cubica AMF website, within the next few days, we are going to be providing a reopening kit. And part of that reopening kit, it's going to be fantastic. It's got monitor ads that talk about social distancing and no high fives, and the cleanliness the steps that we're going through for cleanliness, and some social media posts. But it also has some signs, all different kinds of little signs that you can tag that this item has been cleaned. Or perhaps you have some furniture that, you said that you had moved some of your furniture out and you've spread things out. If there's furniture or things that you can't move, you can label it that that it's out of service or out of order. So we've tried to put together things that we know customers are going to be needing as they reopen, to make it a little bit more convenient, to make sure that you are doing everything possible to provide a clean facility for the customer. So be on the on the lookout for that. You'll be able to access that material from the Cubica AMF support COVID-19 resource page.
That's good.
So anyway, all right. So the other thing that I thought was very interesting from your survey, first of all, I think it's fantastic that you included the customers in the process of reopening, because I think that there's so much to be said. You value your customers a lot, and that shows them by asking for their feedback. But one of the questions that you asked that I thought was very interesting was, how would you feel if Grand Station implements touch-free purchasing and eliminates cash handling Tell me a little bit about that. What is your vision on this?
Uh, Completely cashless. When we've seen the trend, the past, 10 years ago, we were probably 50-50 cash and
Hmm.
credit. Before all this happened, we were probably 90% credit, 10% cash. And there's a lot of errors and things that could happen with people operating cash registers. There's potential for theft, obviously. And so there's so many different variables. And then there's the griminess of cash. And so it's one of the things, and it's taking that in that direction of rolling with the trend of society, and reducing the chance of contagious. And so, like, not taking people's credit cards, but having the credit card customer facing side, and various things like that at every terminal. And we also have intercard, so encouraging the kiosks, so and having them load up their game card, and encouraging loyalty programs for that. And so I know that it's integrated with Cubic AMF, so they can use their game card literally anywhere in our facility. And so encouraging them to load up their cash on this, as opposed to different opportunities to pass
Sure.
whatever could be out there.
And what was the result from the people
Oh,
that took the survey?
so let's see. 51% said they would be more likely to visit if we had touch cashless transactions, and then 43% said it would not impact their decision to visit one way or another. They wouldn't think negative or positive. It's just okay. But a majority said they were more likely to visit if we were cashless completely. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Yes, very interesting. Very interesting. Well, you being in College Station and being a college town, what are you hearing right now as far as the students? Are they looking to continue online learning through the summer and the fall, or have you really heard?
Well, being in Aggieland, we heard first that football season is planning to continue on. So that's a promising sign, right?
Good
Uh,
deal.
yeah. So, well, as
Get
far
our
as
priorities down here.
that's right. That's where it's at.
That's
Uh,
it.
so that is a sign of hope in our area. However, I think it's going to all depend on each individual family, and in each comfort zone, and going to another university. We have 60,000 students that go attend Texas A&M alone, and then we have 20,000 at a junior college right down the street in Bryan. So that's a lot of people, and as you guys, as mostly everyone knows, that the country is almost divided on how safe it is, and how it's almost divided in how people's comfort zones. And so we're really not sure what percentage is going to come back like that. Will come back, but a lot of it is families though. So in the summertime, there's a very good time of the year for us, because we have a lot of families that do come out, locals, and so not college students, and so it varies by the season, the time of the year. It'll be interesting come fall, how it all what percentage of students come back.
Absolutely. So it's a good possibility that your demographics, or your customer base might change a little bit. And we've learned one thing for sure, and that's that we have to be able to make changes on the fly with
Yeah.
this pandemic that's going on now. So certainly, that's a possibility. So what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge when you reopen?
I think probably the mobility of our business plan, and trying to be fluid and adapting to the times. And it seems, this past couple months that we're finding something new every day, and the rules of the game have kind of changed. And so one thing that we've kind of realized, the trend that hasn't changed was, one thing that was constant was, the social distancing thing that seems to be a new norm, as far as like 6 feet across from each other, or eliminate touch points. And that would seem to be the norm, to kind of the rules of the game now is that. And so now we got to kind of form our business model around that, and to make people feel more comfortable about coming through our doors. I think people are going to be more conscientious of cleanliness, And so maybe adding another department or assigning a specific role for somebody to make sure that we're keeping up with our standards of cleanliness. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all kind of plays out, but adapting as quick as possible.
Absolutely. Well, the one thing that we like to ask all of the guests that we have here at Beyond the Frame is, do you have a message of hope that you'd like to share with the industry?
I think just stay optimistic, look for the silver lining in things. And, we kind of talked earlier is that, um, you know, take a moment and just see what's happening at play and, find some good things in that's going on. Almost stop and smell the roses and see, um, we're as a community can grow closer together. And we've had a lot of optimism from the community here in Bryan College Station, and people supporting us and encouraging us to stay around and to not give up, and they're going to come see us as soon as they can. And it's been great to kind of to feel that love, that we've reached out to. We sponsored so many different things in the community throughout the years, and like starting to kind of reciprocate, just having some of that come back to us was kind of a warm, tingling feeling, and to show that they do care about us just as much as, we've done for them. So
That's amazing. Well, that certainly is a nice message of hope, and I have no doubt that that's going to be the case when you guys come back, is you're really going to feel that love. Well, Scott, we are kind of wrapping things up here, and again, I thank you so much for taking time out to join us today. I want to remind our viewers to, check the resources that you have available. There are so many wonderful resources. As I said, the Cubica AMF website has an entire section of the website that is dedicated to best practices and material that is from the Small Business Association and the CDC. So make sure that you're checking that out. Beyond the Frame Facebook group, where we are supposed to be streaming live to right now, has a number of resources available on it too. For example, when you start to open up your center, if you want to contact tech support and get some assistance in reopening to make sure everything comes up properly, there is a way for you to access a form and just submit that online. So we have a blog for our customers. It was originally for Best X customers only. It is now open to everyone, and you'll find all kinds of marketing ideas and tips and free material. So check that out as well. It's bestextras.com, and there is a link on Beyond the Frame as well as the website to sign up if you're not already a member. So Scott, before we leave today, is there anything else that you would like to share with the viewers?
I would like to add on to that. So the BPAA has a lot of courses and management classes, and that's one of the things that we've been doing with our management team, is taking more online courses. They also have COVID safety and cleaning and standards and training, and so really using this downtime to sharpen our skills. I mean, we've done a lot of remodeling within the center as well. We've redone our bowling concourse area as well as our kitchen. So we've really found time to do the projects we never had time for, and so there's no excuse now to not get things done. We have we've had time.
Absolutely. So you can do all that preventative maintenance that before you've had to park because the center's been too busy to take down lanes and to do some of those projects that just require inconveniencing the customer. So well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Dottie.
And thanks for joining us today. Sorry for the technical difficulty with Facebook Live, but I appreciate it. And we look forward to having Grand State. By the way, do you have an opening date yet?
We do not officially. So that's something that we're working on the Texas Bowling Centers Association. We're working to get into the governor's office and to show the guidelines that we've kind of put in place. My father and I are both serve on the board for the Bowling Association, and we're trying to get that across the governor's desk and to know, hey, we're safe, we're taking it serious. These are the steps that bowling centers are willing to take, and so we're hoping for May 18th. That's our hope. So we'll see where that plays out, and one day at a time.
Yeah, well, our Cubica AMF webinar this past Wednesday, the guest was Tim Boss, and he was on the Bowling Proprietors Association of Ohio's task force. So it's interesting that you are in that same position, basically. But anyway, that was a very good webinar, and so helpful to understand the process that that they had to go to help get the center open. And if you missed that, you can find that on the Cubica AMF resource page as well. So, Scott, again, thank you so much for being with us, and we look forward to the center opening up. And who knows, I may stop in to visit you next time I'm in Aggieland. So,
Gig 'em. Let's do it.
gig 'em. Thanks so much.
Thanks.